Hi, I'm Rita. Welcome back to my booktube channel, Life Worth Reading. As you can probably tell, my setup is looking quite different, and that is because I just moved this past weekend, and so I am in my new bedroom that looks very different to my old one. And I actually started a moving vlog, but it was so chaotic and so messy that I just don't think that I'm going to finish or upload it. But yeah, news, I moved, and so I have new bookshelves, and for this video I am going to show you my entire physical TBR because I am doing a bookshelf reorganization. And as I take all the books out, I thought I might as well just show you all the books that I own that I haven't read yet, so you can tell me which books are worth the read, which books I've been sleeping on, and which ones I should get to soon. I have some new books on my shelves that are kind of old because basically I used to live abroad, so my mom, when she came back to Portugal, she brought all of my old books with me, the books that I had in my bedroom abroad. And so I also have those books, and some of them I haven't read, some of them I have read. So basically, without further ado, let's just take all the books out of my shelf so I can show you my entire physical TBR. Alright, so I've just counted up my books, and I have 27 unread books on my physical TBR, which is not a lot. I was expecting more or less this. It's less than 30, so I'm definitely okay with that. And let's start with the one that I'm going to read next. Technically, it's not mine. I don't own this. My friend Bia borrowed me this, but it is The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. I am going to read this. It's my next read because today is the 1st of June, and I was supposed to read this in May, and I haven't started yet. But honestly, as I mentioned, May was a very chaotic month for me. I didn't get anything done except moving, which was hard enough already, and so this hasn't happened yet, but it has to. I am so late to the bloody read, but I really need to finish this book, this trilogy, whatever. I have to. Next up, also in a series that I need to finish, it's The Raven King by Maggie Stiefvater. Now, I think I am going to reread the entire Raven Cycles series because I don't actually remember a lot of what happened. I tried to do a 24-hour readathon last May, and so I read this quite quickly, and I didn't really remember most of what happened, so I think that I have to reread the whole series. But yeah, this is the one that I'm missing from that series, so I need to get to it very soon. Next up, we have a recent purchase, and that is The Once and Future Witches by Alexi Harrow. I got this book, and it was on my May TBR, I think. April, May, maybe both. I haven't read it yet. I don't think I need to say again how messy my month has been, but yeah, it's been rough. So I haven't read this yet, but I'm super excited for it, and I can't wait to get to it. Also, another one in the series I haven't read yet. This is The Labyrinth of Spirits by Carlos Ruiz Zafón. It had a dust jacket, but it was really ugly, so I just took it out. And you can probably guess why I haven't read this yet. It is giant. It is... Let me tell you how many pages this is. This is 830 pages. And also, I've been procrastinating because the Cemetery of Books series by Carlos Ruiz Zafón is one of my favorite series ever. I love The Shadow of the Wind, it's my all-time favorite book. And so the fact that this series has ended and the author has recently passed away as well, so I know that I'm never going to read anything new from him again, and nothing new in the series. And so it's a bit intimidating because it's one of my favorite series and I don't really want it to end. But yeah, I kind of need to get to it, obviously, right? I kind of need to. Next up, we also have another recent purchase, and that is Let's Away by Darcy Little Badger. This book looks incredible, sounds incredible. I love this edition of it. I splurged a little bit, but I am very excited to get to this one, and I don't know why I haven't read it yet, but I really need to. Then we have the My Genius Friend trilogy. It's actually a quartet, but I've already read the first one, My Genius Friend, or My Brilliant Friend, whatever it is. And so I only have this one's left, and I am in the middle of the first one. I kind of softly DNF'd it at the time. I think it was in January or February, but I need to get back into it, and I also have the rest of the series to finish, so I need to get on that. And finally, another Portuguese translated book, and that is As Filhas do Capitão by Maria Duenas. This is a Spanish author. that I really want to get into because I think that I am going to love her books, and she has a few others that I think that I'm really going to enjoy. I have one of my friends, Tara. She is Spanish, she lives in Barcelona, and she has recently read the original ones, of course, and she really loved it. This one, The Time in Between Something. I don't know the English name of it, but I really need to get to it because I think that I am going to enjoy this author's writing. I need to take the leap and just read it. All right, now for my other books. This one I am going to mention, but I can't read this yet because this is a sequel to A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. This is Good Girl Bad Blood by Holly Jackson. I bought this without having read the first one, so I can't immediately get to this one, but eventually I will. I will get to the first one and then the second one, and hopefully I'll have the whole series, the whole trilogy, because everyone talks about this one. Everyone talks about the Damn series, and honestly I want to be part of the hype. I want to read it. I want to find out what the hell is happening in this series because I have no idea. Meg with Books, she is the real perpetrator, like, behind me wanting to read this. She is a menace when it comes to this trilogy. She mentions it all the time. It's one of her all-time favorite mysteries, and she's really savvy with those mysteries, so I need to give the first one a read so I can get to this one. What else? Another recent purchase. This is The Girls I've Been by Tess Sharp. I have no idea what the hell this is about. One of my friends, Marta, really loved it, so I got it secondhand. It's very cute. I like the cover. I like the redness of it. And again, what is this about? I don't know, but you tell me. Is it worth the read? Should I get to it soon? Or is it one that I could put in the back burner? Then we have a classic that I bought that I haven't read yet, and that is Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. I really like this Penguin Classics edition of it, and I don't know why I haven't read this yet. I could lie to you and tell you that I'm waiting for Halloween, but I don't really believe in seasonal like reads. I read things all year round, so I don't really believe in waiting for Halloween to read spooky books, so I can't really lie to you and say that that's why I haven't read this yet. I think that I'm just intimidated by it. I'm scared it'll be boring and that I won't enjoy it, but I need to get to it. Then we have Ray Barrier by Jordan Fueco. I've been meaning to read this book since last year as well. I still haven't. Honestly, I started this book and I didn't really love it, like the first few chapters, and I kind of soft DNF'd it back then, but I need to get back into it. I'm just scared that I'm not going to love it. I'm just scared, okay? Everyone gives this book 5 stars, and what if I don't? What if I don't love it? What if it's a flop for me? I don't know. I'm scared. I'm scared for my life. And yes, I'm being dramatic, but I'm kind of scared. Please hype me up and tell me this is as good as everyone says it is. Like, please give me the motivation to read this. Then another recent purchase that is a tiny book that I'm very excited to get to. Red at the Bone by Jacqueline Woodson. I've been meaning to read this book for years, and I was waiting till I got a physical copy, and now I do. So what's my excuse now? I don't have any. I don't have any excuses. So this one I'll be reading soon. I'm hoping for the best. I'm just hoping for the best. Next up, we have Hamnet. The way I've been procrastinating reading this book for over a year. I bought this book last May. It is now the start of June. I was going to read this for a reading vlog that I kind of stopped doing, sadly. I was also going to read it in May for the 20-something book club hosted by Mafalda and Casey. I haven't. Again, May, horrible, chaotic, horrible month. I didn't read it, and I'm also scared for this one. I'm scared that I'm not going to love it. But let's see. Next up, we have Love After Love by Ingrid Prasad. This is kind of a romance. I don't think it's a romance, more of a contemporary set in the Caribbean. Again, broken record here. I really want to get to it. I haven't yet, but I will. This is a very summer book to me, so hopefully that'll be the right timing for me to read this one. Next up, we have another very recent purchase, and that is The Bone Wish by Rin Tribeco. I found this for quite cheap secondhand, and I've heard great things about this book. I've always been interested to read it, and it looks pretty fucking great. It looks great. Do I know what it is about? No, but I will find out. Next up, we have a cover purchase for sure. I bought this last year, and that is The Stray Cats of Homes by Evan Noor. It was a cover purchase. I really enjoyed this cover. I really enjoyed this edition. But basically this book, I think it's about Syria. Is it Syria? Yes. This book is about Syria, about the war, about the invasions. And when I bought this, since it was like a impulse like purchase, I didn't actually check up on it, but like the author is, I think, maybe Dutch, maybe French. I'm not sure what she is, but basically white, right? And so I'm not sure how great this book is going to be in terms of representation, in terms of talking about such a tricky subject as the war in the Middle East, but I'm giving it a chance. We'll see. I already own it, so, and it doesn't have a lot of reviews on Goodreads, but the ones that they have are pretty positive, so I'm excited for it, and I'll see if it's worth the read. Next up, we have one of those books that I mentioned that I used to own. It used to be in my old bedroom abroad, and I haven't read it yet, and now it's back in my hands, and that is Trust Exercise by Susan Choi. Actually, Noelle Gallagher has just put out a video of her, like, her summer TBR, and she mentioned, not summer TBR, like summer book recommendations, and she mentioned this book, and I didn't even remember that I owned it, but I do, apparently, and so I kind of have to read it now because it's already in my hands, so why not? But I've been told that this book is quite confusing. Some people think it's brilliant, some people think that it's absolute garbage. I don't know which side I'm going to fall on, but I am excited to figure it out, I guess. I own it. I'm going to read it. It's already in my room. Why not? Let me know if you've read it, if you think you're on the brilliant side of it, if you're on the hot garbage side of it, let me know. Then we have On the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr. I got this book because everyone was talking about it back in the day. I think I got this book maybe 2-3 years ago, and I still haven't read it yet. I don't really like this edition, not because of the cover, but like the edition is very like stiff, but I am going to read it eventually. Let me know, have you read this? Is it worth the hype? Because I feel like the hype has died down from this, and this author has put other books out, but I don't know if it's like, let me know if you like in 2022, is it worth the read? Should I get into it or should I just unhaul it? Let me know. Also, in the books that I had in my old room, I have Scythe by Neil Schusterman. I didn't read this one. I started it, but then I started maybe like 3-4 years ago, like 2018 maybe, or 2019, and I didn't finish it. But honestly, I want to. Everyone says that the series goes kind of downhill. I've seen bad reviews for the second and third one. But like, it's the vibe. It's the vibe of I already own it, so why not read it? You know? Do I want to start another YA fantasy like series, science, sci-fi? I'm not sure, but I'll think about it. Next up, we have another weird like secondhand purchase that I got, and that was Maggie O'Farrell's first, like her debut novel, and that is After You'd Gone. Honestly, I bought one book from this girl on Vinted, and then she also had this one on her like shop, and it was so cheap, and I just thought that I'm going to enjoy Hamnet, I think, so why not give this one a try? And I went on Goodreads, and it has great reviews. It's a very old book. I think it's from like 2001 maybe. Is it from 2001? Yes, like 2001, so it's very old, but it has great reviews. Next up, we have another book that has been haunting me for years, and that is Pachinko by Min-Jin Lee. Why haven't I read this one yet? I don't know, besties, I really don't know. It's the second year in a row that I say that I'm going to read this for the Asian Readathon, and I simply don't. I'm not going to wait. I'm not going to wait until next May to make the same mistake. I'm going to try to read it this year. I have to, but it's kind of intimidating, and it's so long. It is 550 pages. I'm kind of scared for my life. Oh, and I also forgot to mention that all the books are back there. I took them out of my shelf, but I have read all of them, so that's why they're there. I have read them. Then we have The Fountains of Silence by Ruta Sepetys. I got this book because everyone talks about this author. She is like a YA historical fiction writer, and people talk about her books Salt to the Sea, maybe, Between Shades of Grey, her new book I Might Betray You. So she's a very popular YA historical fiction author that I've been meaning to try out, and I got this book because I don't know, I just liked it. It's set in Spain during the dictatorship of Francisco Franco, and I think it's gonna be a pretty good time, as good as a book about a dictatorship can be. Then we have a book that, do I still want to read this? I really don't know, and that is Rule of Wolves by Leigh Bardugo. Listen, besties, I read King of Scars this year in February. I didn't like it. It was a generous 3-star read, solely out of respect for Leigh Bardugo and her craft, because the book itself was a 2-star, 2.5 at best. Am I excited for the sequel? No. The first one was boring, it was weird, I didn't like the vibes, but again, I anticipated myself and I already got this one. So should I just read both of them? I think that I will, because I already own it, you know. Finally, out of my actual owned books, I have 2 that I got yesterday. I bought them secondhand a few weeks ago and they finally came in. The first one is Vita Nostra by Marina and Sergei Duachenko, I think. This is a Russian dark academia novel. It got a bit of a hype when people were like really into dark academia, like last year or 2 years ago. Now the hype has kind of died down. I don't know. The hype has kind of died down. I'm not sure what's going on anymore. And finally, I got The Strange Case of the Alchemist's Daughter by Theodora Goss. This is also another book that I'm blaming on Magnet Books, simply. She made me want to read this. I own it. I'm going to try it. I think it's like historical fiction but fantasy at the same time. Not sure what the hell is going on with this one, but I'm excited to find out. As I mentioned, those are the 27 books on my physical TBR that I haven't read yet. Do let me know if you think any of these are worth reading quite soon. This month, this summer, let me know. I am very excited to get to all of these books. Again, I don't have a physical TBR as giant as some other booktubers. Not that I want to, because I think that having too many physical books can be a bit overwhelming sometimes. But yeah, they're not a lot, but also there are a lot, because 27 books is still a lot to read. And yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this video. I am going to be filming my bookshelf reorganization next, so if you see me in the same clothes, that's why. And yeah, that's all that I gotta say. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more bookish content, and I'll see you in my next video. I hope you have a nice day, and always remember that life is worth reading.